How's it going, guys? Welcome to yet another explanation video, and today we are discussing Ethernet. So as always, let's start with the simple stuff, and that is, what is Ethernet? Ethernet is a common technology used to connect devices on a network and looks something like this. Now let's break it down into what it actually consists of. So if we open up the wire, you'll see it has 4 pairs of 2 wires, so 8 wires total, and each pair is going to be a signal and its return. You'll have green, blue, orange, and brown, where your green is going to be labeled TX, and that is for transmit data. Orange is going to be RX, and that is receive data. And then your blue and brown are actually only going to be used if it is on a 1000 base T. So 1000 base T is going to be under the 802.3AB standard, so kind of ignore all those letters. I know that might be confusing, but all that is a standard for 1000 megabit per second transmission. So it's kind of like more the new standard for high-speed internet. And those are going to be labeled TRD2 for the blue one and TRD3 for the brown one. And all that means is transmit and receive data 2, and then transmit and receive data 3. At this point, you might think, wow, that's super cool, Max, but why do we need Ethernet? Can't we just use USB for all this? Before we talk about this, please consider subscribing, as a vast majority of you are actually not, as you see here, and if you enjoy videos like this, you will not want to miss the upcoming ones. Okay, so why use Ethernet over USB, say? Well, that's because Ethernet was actually invented to transmit data at higher speeds, and it came out well before USB, 21 years before it, to be precise. Ethernet's main focus is communication from computer to computer, while USB's main focus, when it came out at least, was designed to connect peripheral devices, so your computer's mouse, keyboard, camera, etc., all that stuff. USB connections can also share bandwidth between all its connectors, whereas Ethernet is dedicated to only network activity. Signal degradation also occurs much faster in USB, where your standard Ethernet cable can go up to 100 meters or 328 feet without signal degradation, and USB 2 can only go 10 meters, which is only 33 feet, and even USB 3 or 3.1, they don't recommend going any longer than 18 meters, which is only 59 feet. So as you see, if you have a large area that you need network attached devices, as in a house, maybe even a 2-story house, you're definitely going to be going over those limits, so you're going to be having a reduction in speed just because of how long the cable has to be. Now, let's talk about the different versions of Ethernet. We have Cat 1, Cat 2, Cat 3, Cat 4, Cat 5, Cat 5e, Cat 6, Cat 6a, Cat 7, and Cat 8. Whew, lots of cats. And if you're wondering, cat actually just stands for category, but it's a lot easier saying Cat 5 than saying category 5 every single time. To make this easy, you can basically ignore Cat 1, 2, 3, 4, and honestly even 5 because they're all outdated and not used anymore. Cat 5e is going to be your most common due to its low cost and high speeds it can deliver. The E in this actually stands for enhanced, and this is an improved version of Cat 5, just offering better performance while still being backwards compatible with all the older systems and supporting gigabit Ethernet. Moving to Cat 6, we get a significant performance improvement with supports up to 10 gigabits per second, up to 55 meters, which is about 180 feet. And on top of that, Cat 6a, where the A now stands for augmented. Not sure why they switched that from E to A, but basically the same thing. It is just yet another improvement over Cat 6 now. This offers twice the bandwidth, and Cat 6a cables use a shielded sleeve, stopping any potential crosstalk from other communication wiring nearby. So this extra sleeving and insulation actually creates a stiffer physically cable. So it's less flexible than your typical Cat 5e or Cat 6 cable, but it can help with basically removing any noise that could happen with a lot of other cables nearby. Moving on, Cat 7, and this is where it gets very different. Cat 7 actually contains not only an outer shield, similar to the Cat 6a, but also individual inner shields for each pair of cables of the 4 cables that are inside, and is not supported by the EIA or IEEE standards. So Cat 7 offers the same speeds as Cat 6a, so up to 10 gigabits per second, but this is kind of a new format they tried, and it actually came out after Cat 6, but before Cat 6a. So in release order, Cat 6 came out, Cat 7 came out, and then they went back and updated Cat 6 to Cat 6a. And finally, the newest Cat 8, which no one really needs, supports up to 40 gigabits per second and is costing much more than your typical Cat 5e or any other of these cables. So after all that, you most likely will be completely fine using your Cat 5e, since most people don't even have internet service providers that can offer over 1 gigabit per second speeds at the moment. And that concludes my video on Ethernet and explaining it. If you guys had any questions or any comments or any kind of suggestions for new explained videos, please leave them in the comments below. I will get to those as soon as I can. And thanks for watching again, and I'll see you guys in the next one.